Hello everyone and welcome to another video. What I have on the bench here today is a kind donation from my friend Michael, and it's a Macintosh LC from 1992, full of dust and dirt and spiders and whatever comes in your mind after spending so many years somewhere in a warehouse. But I think it's going to be an interesting project if we manage to restore the unit and say a few things about this particular great and very popular series coming from Apple in the 90s. It was known as LC as a code name or something, but the real reason behind the name of the model was the low cost. That's what LC stands for. To keep the price down, Apple needed to just cut some corners on performance and some features and redesign some components in order for the computer to be less expensive. And apparently they made it. The LC models in particular become very popular in schools because of their small footprint. And it comes as a very nice, sleek design, very nice case, what we used to call now the pizza box form factor case. Now the computer also has a processor direct slot or PDS slot. It has a 16 MHz 68020 microprocessor, which by the way lacks a floating point coprocessor, and of course comes with a 16-bit data bus, which is a major performance bottleneck, as you can imagine, because 68020 is a 32-bit CPU after all. Now Michael, who was kind enough to donate the system, the whole set, to the channel, brought me also the monochrome 12-inch display, which is rather filthy. And all I can do at this point is to clean it up and give it a try. I don't like messing around with high voltages, so I'm not sure I'm going to be opening and start cleaning and checking capacitors over this one, but I'd rather give it some good wash and see what happens before I can plug it in and start testing it. But it's interesting that it's kind of cute monitor and small factor sleek design monitor, again coming along with the LC, and it fits perfectly on top of the case of the computer as well. Not really much of a high resolution monitor, as it's a monochrome 12-inch display, 640 by 480, only with all the adjustments, the vertical sync and the horizontal sync and all the potentiometers that you need on the back, but pretty much that's what it is. Hopefully it will be able to give us some output after all these years, from 1992, I guess. So it can hardly fit on my desk. Not to mention the whole system is out of the question. I need to put it somewhere and start testing. And so first things first, I cleaned the whole case with domestic detergent and a few cotton buds in between the gaps of the plastics, and everything looks better now. the spiders are gone, and I haven't tried to power it up yet. So yeah, I tried to do my best to make it look like new from the outside, and then we can try together to plug it in and see if it powers up by any chance. The articles I've read about and some videos I watched for this particular computer referring to a couple of let's say Achilles heels for this computer, which the first one of course is the power supply, fails very easily, and the other thing is the SCSI hard drive, which can also be failure after quite some time. The interesting thing is that if it's the quantum type, it can have stuck heads, so the heads can be stuck and cannot move around the surface of the disk. That's interesting. Okay, now I haven't performed any operation to a similar type of or another Macintosh before, so let's find out how is this thing can be opened. And it's amazing looking white. I'm surprised and very pleased with the condition of the plastics. So I can see a big screw holding the top cover, and I can see there are a couple of clips right here. This screw, right, big screw in the center, and another clip on the other side. It cannot be that easy. I hope it is. So I will remove the screw and try to clip the top cover off, and hopefully this will reveal the what is under the hood in this machine, and we can take a look, and we have the first estimation of the condition, which looks easy and interesting. So time to move under the hood now. We can find a very nice compact design motherboard. Here is the PRAM battery for saving our work. All the components I can see so far, I/O, here is the Motorola processor. Here the input-output controllers. Here is the Super I/O VLSI, and the Apple ROMs are here in sockets, probably because they wanted to upgrade the system at some point. Here is the RAM, couple of SIM 30-pin SIM RAM, giving us the 4 out of maximum 10 megabytes we could find, and 256 for the video RAM, hardwired here, soldered. Could be 512 at tops. And again, here is the battery. I should change, I believe, after 30 years. The SCSI controller, the SCSI connector, and the hard drive is a 40 megabyte Apple hard drive. What was the one of the options? You could get 40 or 30, that was up to 80 at that point. The big fan, the speaker, and of course it's the corner type. We should be cautious with this as it's prone to failure. Bottom right hand side, the single floppy as standard, and upper right hand side is the power supply manufactured by TDK. I can see a couple of clips. It should be an easy way we can get it off and check if something is wrong with it. All the components are clipped, and it's easy to remove each and every component and be replaced or be repaired, which is nice, very nice design and very convenient. And I think it was made this way because the user needs to open the case every now and then in order to replace this lithium battery, the PRAM battery, which actually is a lithium battery, but I don't think it's rechargeable in any way. So I'm guessing it should be a part to be replaced every 2 or 3 years. So the user needs to open the case every now and then and replace this battery, which I will try to find a similar one to replace it, and I do not believe it's mandatory in order to start the system. And in the meantime, I try to take some measurements of the out of the circuit, and nothing happens. I can find 1.3, 1.5 volts around the circuit, and I got this bad smell and strange heat coming from the power supply. So I removed the power supply, and I'm guessing it's the classic and hoping at the same time that it's going to be the same, always the same classic capacitors problem. It was detached easily with these pins, and apparently I have to investigate further, dig into the power supply, replace any bad caps if that is the case, and then the second suspect will be the corner SCSI hard drive. So let's see if we can fix something and make this work after all. So I found 5 screws only holding the power supply together. It looks like a very compact design again, a very nice power supply. I don't know about the components, and if you believe this low voltage part on the left with the electrolytic capacitors is still hot from the previous test. Unbelievable. And I believe some of those might be damaged, and the right thing to do and the good practice is to replace them all. So I will try to find the right values around my spares and start replacing those caps. And so flipping the board on this low voltage area, I can find a lot of stains around the PCB, and this tells me that these are liquids escaped from a capacitor, one or more capacitors, and so we have absolutely something damaged here. This is a bad corroded connection, actually those two. So this capacitor might be faulty, the first suspect, and we'll check around also the rest of the circuit for other capacitors missing fluids and being swollen or whatever indicates that there is a problem. And again, facing a situation like this, which is pretty common, the good practice is to swap them all and replace them all. So I removed the first guy, the suspect right there. You can see on the right side the cup that is missing, and the liquids are everywhere, like it has created this kind of mud or something that is spread now around the whole circuit, and I believe it can give us a short. Maybe I'm wrong, but what is needed now is I need to clean the place, clean the contacts, and remove the rest of the caps and check their connections, check if they are swollen from the other side, because the top side looks okay, but this might be fake and they have been exploded from the bottom. So let me do just that, make this quick investigation. I'm going to change them either way. You can see how it's swollen and exploded from the downside. You can clearly see that is the cup that used to be there, and it's the ELNA type 270 microfarads. Hard to find 270 microfarads. I'm going to be using 220 as an equivalent, or even better 330 microfarads, but the rule and the good practice again is to try to find the right value, but 270 is hard to find. You can again see here better how it has been exploded from the bottom. Amazing. Either way, if it has created a short to the rest of the capacitors or the circuits, it's going to be replaced. I mean, the whole set will be replaced. That means 3 like this one, 270 microfarads, and 3 bigger ones, 1000 microfarads each, is on this low voltage area, this side of the PCB of the power supply. So I'm gonna be replacing all. And another interesting point is and useful thing is to use more voltage tolerance. So I'm gonna be using 16 volts instead of 10 volts that it was marked on the old capacitors from the factory. And as I keep removing the old cups and I cleaning the PCB as I go, I keep thinking of the hard drive, which is suspect number 2, and really I checked over the internet and I saw that SCSI drives of this type or some other solutions, for example SCSI to SD cards, are very, very expensive. Here we have another capacitor that failed, another swollen guy, and another one here. So those three, the Elna shiny ones, the 270, have been blown. The other capacitors of the 1000 microfarads, the bigger ones, do seem to be in good condition, but of course I won't take any risk, and I'm going to be replacing those with these, and as I said, 16 volts marked onto the new ones. So the solution, if only the hard drive is out of order, comes as very expensive. So I will stop after this operation and restoring the PSU in case the computer cannot boot up and we have another problem with the hard drive. But for now I'm going to be focusing on this and play with chances, fix the power supply unit, then we can test. I'm going to remove just a couple of those 1000 ones from the board, and we'll test in a while, and again we'll see what happens. Now the electrolyte that escaped could be found everywhere around this low voltage area, and now I'm giving this clean up with the Q-tip and some isopropyl alcohol, and let's see, now every capacitor, old capacitor, has been removed. I mean, the mud, the electrolyte mud, was like everywhere. Anyways, I think we have chances, and now the whole set will be soldered into place, and this new set of capacitors might power up the system. And the most important thing now is I have loosely prepared the capacitors onto the board, as you can see here. Now I'm going to do the soldering. Is the orientation of the capacitor, which is always the same direction for the minus pole and the positive pole. So I'll solder the contacts now and move to the test. Now by the time I'm going to power this thing on, as the PSU is back into place, I'm going to leave the natural sound. Hopefully I can listen to the hard disk scanning, I can listen to the fan working, and there is a distinctive welcome ding when powering up a Macintosh. So are you ready? Let's see. And I guess we have a working system. Well, I haven't checked the monitor yet, but I can listen to the hard drive. I can see the fan is working fine, and there was this welcome ding sound from the speaker. So let me connect the monitor and put it in on the other desk. I have the old cups here as a souvenir, and apparently we have a fine working Macintosh. And not only that, I'm very happy and pleased because the hard drive still works, so I don't have to replace it with equivalent kind of SCSI to SD or whatever. So let me just have some relaxing moments with a solitaire, and thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe if you like ancient technology and reviews and repairs and fixes and stuff, and I'll be catching you soon with another useful video. I hope, or demo or whatever. Thanks again for watching. Bye.